What's going on, Tamers? It's your boy Varney, and today I'm in the studio with my boys Mike and Dan. We are going to be doing the definitive BT15 Exceed Apocalypse tier list for y'all.
Post ban list.
Post restriction. Yes,
the definitive, You might ruffle some feathers with that one again, buddy.
I'm gonna ruffle a lot of feathers, but you know what? That's what we do out here. We ruffle those feathers. So
I would just like to say our last definitive tier list was pretty accurate.
It was pretty definitive.
it was a pretty definitive tier list. I do have to say. So I'll preface this all with saying tier lists are something that you guys should take with a grain of salt. We appreciate that you guys have come to watch our tier list, but when you are looking for information on metas, please do your own research and come to your own conclusions, and don't just think that because we say this deck is going to be this power level or that we think this deck is not going to be good, that is the word, because that is just our opinion. I think a lot of people forget that in today's day and age of people giving out their opinions on the internet. So just please keep that in mind. With that being said, we've got our 5 categories. They're the same as last time, except we took away one category, but that one doesn't matter. So we've got our meta-defining category. Meta-defining meaning that these are the decks we think the other decks of the meta are going to have to play around. We've got our contenders. These are the decks that are going to be trading blows with each other, as well as the meta-defining decks, but they are not necessarily the decks that will define the meta. We've got our rogue and our sleeper picks. These are the decks that are good. They are decks that are not necessarily contenders in a certain way. They may need one thing or another. They may need the right circumstances, etc., stuff like that. Pilot oriented, it's kind of the same thing in that regard, but when we say pilot oriented, we mean decks that are just godlike in certain people's hands. And then we've got our we're here for a fun time, not a long time category, because there are just some decks that you are truly not here for a fun time, or not here for a long time, just a fun time. So with that, we're going to start off right with our MegaGargomon. This deck is coming out, the tournaments start this Sunday. This is the bunny deck. So where do you guys think this is going to line up in regards to the meta? Kind of hard to say, right?
Oh, God,
because the biggest thing is that post-restriction list, so the big 3 have been nerfed, and it's just kind of wide open for anybody to take. Now, they've got like a lot of good tools in this deck, but is it enough until BT16? I don't know.
Contenders? We can always move places later, right?
Yeah, we can. I mean, okay, let me put it this way. MegaGargo Ace is insane. MegaGargo Ace, obviously it's an ace. It plays for cheap, it digivolves, but it only gets its effect on digivolve. You get to stun 2 Digimon and or Tamers, and those things cannot unsuspend? Or is it
like
suspend?
Maybe contenders might still be too high, though.
Honestly, I think it's meta-defining.
You think it's
meta-defining? You think it's meta-defining?
So check this out, right? When they were, the big 3 was happening and this deck came out, it was getting dubs already. Not as frequently, obviously, because you had the big 3 monster, the 3-headed purple demons going on, you know what I'm saying? But I think the stuff in the deck is so good for it. MegaGargo Ace is probably the best ace currently when it drops. And it got so instantly better. So I think it could be meta defining straight up. It could be. I don't know. Like I said, me and Mike probably got to keep thinking about this one because he said contenders.
Before you talk real quick, let me tell you what the MegaGargo Ace does. I just want to make sure you hear it in chat.
I know what it does.
Let me make sure the people who are listening does. It suspends 2 of your opponent's Digimon and Tamers. Then 2 of your opponent's Digimon or Tamers can't unsuspend or digivolve until the end of your opponent's turn. That means if they're not expecting it and you hit them with a MegaGargo Ace.
Yeah, it's pretty strong. And there's so much good stuff in that deck. Like I think the option call is really like Double Typhoon, right? Where you just play the other like Lockmon or Terriermon, whatever, for free, and then you can do other things. Yeah, and then the new Terrier lets you do other things for free as well. I forget what it is.
Terrier lets you play a green tamer or a level 3 Lop, reducing cost by 2. So
exactly. Yeah. That's super good. You're playing your the new tamer for like 1 or 2 costs, and then the new tamer lets you warp evo biomerge as well. It's really good. I don't know. I think it could be meta defining straight up. I think
I'm like almost with you, Dan. Like you guys.
I think early. I won't be surprised. I don't know when the next regional Ulti Cup is. Do you know by any chance, Varney?
I want to say it's April March, because it was kind of like 1 February, 1 March, and then they start kicking off in April, I believe.
I feel like we'll definitely know obviously in that tournament, but I feel like early on there's gonna be a lot of hype for it, so people are gonna play it just like Apocalymon was like the hype. They knew there was gonna be the first and only tournament for it, so I could see this being, I don't know, I think it could be meta defining. I think it really could be.
I'm feeling contender for now, but we might have to change it to meta defining. Other reasons it could also be good. You could still play Quantum on it. You can still play Quartz.
Quantum and Quartz.
Yeah.
Quartz, yeah, for sure.
Are disgusting.
So like there is arguments to be had.
Green is just such a good color.
It's in a good spot right now for sure.
Yeah,
it is in a really strong spot, but that's the issue, is because there's other green decks that are also in a really good spot right now, with purple being murdered.
Right, yeah. All right, I'm fine with MegaGargo being a contenders deck, having spoken about it, especially because like I think it's different from the Beelzemon deck. When Beelzemon came out, we hadn't had like actual Beelzemon support for a while. This one, we just got all the Alliance stuff in EX4. Now we get this deck, so you can immediately push this together and play, and then you get even more support next set. But I think because it already has this recent up-to-date support in all of what we have already, I think it already puts it in a solid spot. So I am fine with this being a contenders deck. I think that's a fair spot to leave it in. Now, the next deck, let's talk about Blue Flare. Blue Flare, I feel like is eternally a contenders deck. It does what it does, and nobody can stop you outside of a play cost reduction rookie from doing what you do.
I was a Rogue Sleeper too, saying.
Yeah. You think Rogue? So they got access, so they can max out on their Kiriha and Nene. They can play Supreme Connection, search out their Metal Gray, and then play their Metal Gray out for free.
Yeah, it's not wrong. You definitely 100% can.
I still just feel like it's a Rogue or Sleeper pick, only because I think that the blue deck people, there's 2 blue decks I think people are really going to play in this format. It's not Blue Flare.
Okay.
Think.
Yeah,
I guess we also have to consider the meta.
I'm not saying that Blue Flare is not a bad deck. I think it's still very competitive.
I know what you're saying.
I think what changes Blue Flare depends on, we're going to talk about eventually, Numemon. I think that depends on that, because if you think about how Blue Flare plays, Numemon just plays right in there, and then Blue Flare would be the auto counter. You just stun everything, they can't do anything. So I could see that depending on how crazy I guess Numemon is. So I could see that being up to contenders, but I don't know. I guess because this is such a new meta, I could see it being both contenders and Rogue Sleeper.
I feel pretty comfortable throwing it in Rogue and Sleeper.
All right, we'll leave it at the top for now. We'll see where it is when we get to the rest of the tier list. Speaking of the other blue decks, we do have other blue decks. Let's just knock them off real quick. Ulforce.
Rogue Sleeper.
I know people are going to be like, Ulforce this, Ulforce that. I'm like, listen, Ulforce for me, that's a deck that...
Again, it's another deck that Apocalymon just stops. So like there's no Apocalymon anymore. So like this can just go. Ulforce is the type of deck that can either win your regional, or you just don't do anything with it, just because depending on who it is and the luck of C arenas. So I could definitely see it in Rogue Sleeper. I wouldn't be surprised if there's at least one top here and there.
Yeah,
I'm with Rogue Sleeper.
I also think that like Rena is still barrier to entry for playing the deck, and so it puts a lot of people off of playing the deck. But in the same way, it's also a very combo-oriented deck, more so than Shine is. I feel like Shine kicks off a lot easier than Ulforce is able to kick off with.
For sure.
So like because of that, it's not a it's a good deck, but it's just not a contender type deck. It is a rogue or sleeper pick. I'd agree with that. Now Mirage, that's a contender deck.
I think that's meta defining.
I think
that's
meta
defining.
If not meta defining, right?
I
now,
think
go ahead.
Especially in this format right now without purple, I think it's very meta defining.
Yeah, it's such an impressive.
Not fine, but I think it would have done pretty decent into the crazy purple meta we had, anyways.
In a best of three,
it wouldn't have been better than anything.
It's possible,
maybe.
Yes. In a best of three, it's possible. For me, Mirage, BT11 Mirage is just such a dick card. It literally says, oh, memory boost, training boost, search effect, you're taxed. Anything that you do is instantly like +2 memory. Generally, because by the time that Mirage hits board, you're at 8 cards in hand. So it's like, damn, like
your
opponent
opponent.
Have to make a your opponent's at 8 cards in hand, sorry. So you just have to make this concerted effort to watch how much you're drawing against Mirage, because they'll bone you for it. No shot. I agree. I think Mirage is definitely going to be one of the best. I think it's the best blue deck of the format going into BT15. And I definitely think it's
including Melga.
Yeah.
Okay. I think it has the edge over Melga. I think because I want to say that you have an easier to, I don't know, it's tough, right? Like both are decks that benefited a lot from Bukamon. Let's just talk about Melga then. Both are decks that benefited a lot from Bukamon. So like somebody said it in Discord, I can't remember who it was, but they were like, both the Mirage and Melga players are both in the Buka apologist club. They're hurting.
I feel like Melga, it wasn't the case for Melga. I think Melga, sure, they benefit from Buka, but their benefit was having the protection off of the Guru X and Gabu X more than that.
You didn't need your protection if you had Bukamon.
Sure, you didn't need Buka if you had that too at the same time. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's going to do the same exact thing. So I don't know.
Get me. I'm not disagreeing with you. But there's also a reason why we saw all those motherfucking Melga decks play the Bukamon. Because why burn through your protection if you don't even have to?
No, of course. I'm just stating that Guru X is, cracked.
That Guru X hit for them, that's a pretty big hit for them.
I mean, I'm with you. I still think that Melga's gonna be really good though, especially the blue base is really good by itself, and pretty much that Wergaruru just does it's just insane
obnoxious things. Yeah. So here's my reasoning on why I think Mirage is probably better than Melga, and I could be wrong. So the whole thing with Melga, with the Guru X and Gabu X protection, why that obviously was so busted was because you use cards from trash. You get rid of nothing in stack means you don't have to get rid of any of your inheritables. So if you lost the Bukamon, no problem. You just burn cards from trash. But now that they have to go back to using the old Gabu X and Guru X and even the Sagittarius promo, now they have to start burning sources from stack, and they don't have jamming. And if they do want to have jamming, they'll have to play that Betamon rookie, which isn't an archetype. So they can't search it outside of a mental training or blue memory boost. So in general, like, they're a lot more prone to getting deleted now by battle than they were before. Now, they have easier ways to gain DP, because you can play the Gabumon that gives you 1,000 DP for 8 or more cards in. You can play that Sunomon egg. And I think there might be like 1 or 2 other effects that give up like a 1k buff to DP. But at the end of the day, you're still going to be low threshold. Like, you're still going to be like 7 to 8k, which means like against MachineDramon. What you going to do against a MachineDramon? Now, granted, what is Mirage going to do against a MachineDramon?
Yeah.
But Melga definitely, I feel like, suffers a lot more because of when they start their attack sequence. than Mirage does. So
yeah, I think that they're both OTK decks still, though, right? And
yeah, for sure.
MetalGarurumon for BT15 has Evade on it.
I've heard like differing opinions on that though. I know some people are like, I hate it because it costs 4 to digivolve. Yeah, it has Evade and it has Stun, but I hate digivolving for 4, and they rather just go straight into Melga X, the old one at that.
Yeah, the old one. No, I'm so it's tough to say. I think people still gotta run it though.
Yeah,
for sure.
Not to run, like you still have to run the card, and I think
plus is a warp.
We have 4 mental training in the deck. You're playing 4 mental training.
As I'm thinking about it, I was just about to put Melga ahead of MegaGargo for top of contenders, but when you look at this new Rapidmon that says it digivolves 3 from a Rapid or Gargomon, and then if you have a green tamer in play, it can't be returned to the hand or deck until the end of your opponent's turn.
That's pretty good.
Against these 2 blue decks that bounce, if they take a swing, an early swing, and you have the MegaGargo Ace in hand, you could just block them from doing the rest of their attack sequence.
Oh yeah.
Like, that's kind of big.
Yeah.
I don't think it affects Mirage as much, because Mirage generally starts swinging at 6. They don't start swinging low at their level 5 unless you've got that many cards in hand that they can take like a safe 13k swing. But for Melga, I think that poses a much bigger problem for Melga, especially because the MegaGargo Ace has blocker on the body, so they can blast and block and get the unsuspend. No, they don't get the unsuspend, sorry. But still being able to blast, block, and prevent you from digivolving is just kind of insane for Melga to be able to deal with. I do think that Mirage is the better deck than Melga. I think I'll go there.
Okay.
I mean, it's
of course, this is all conjecture. Of course, this is all conjecture.
I mean, hey, we're here to discuss it, right?
Right.
If we're wrong, we're wrong. It is what it is. Everyone is guessing. No one knows.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
Like.
Yeah.
You're probably right on it. I just don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to spend too much more time on it just because people have a lot more decks to go through. So I'll say it is what it is. Blue hybrid,
pilot oriented.
Yeah, we haven't seen it do anything. It's here because Tommy's at, honestly, the only reason Blue Hybrid is here is because Tommy's at 4. If Tommy wasn't at 4, this deck wouldn't be here. But because it's at 4, it's gotta be here because it's still a viable deck. I would never play it because it's Blue Hybrid. I'm not touching that deck. I'd burn all my Tommies faster than I'd play Blue Hybrid.
Wow.
But it's pilot oriented. You can do what you can do, but I think Blue Flare does it better. Unless you're just playing a very low to the ground aggro ass blue deck. I mean, you could definitely make use of the Ukomons in this deck. Like you could do the same thing as Red Hybrid without doing the whole, Emperor Gray play. But I think that's why Red Hybrid, let's talk about Red Hybrid, is better.
Oh yeah, Red Hybrid's meta defining. I don't think that there's
because you have the Ukomon. You're doing the same thing that Blue Hybrid is doing. Yeah, you don't get the stun, but you're just fucking wiping everything off the board. You've got Crimson Blaze. You can deal with anything that plays anything out by effects. And then you've just got Emperor that wipes off anything in your path. So like, Red Hybrid just does it better.
Yeah, I'm with you.
I hate it. I hate to say it, but it's Red Hybrid.
I'm not gonna lie, if we actually still had Bukomon, Blue Hybrid might actually be pretty insane right now too.
Meta defining Red
Hybrid. Not insane. Meta defining for Red Hybrid. I feel like that's not a bad pick only because the purple decks are gone. The purple menace.
But again, I mean, MegaGargo Ace, you can prevent their tamers from digivolving.
Yeah, but what are you saying? Every single deck is gonna go.
I know, right? I know.
No, so the only reason I say it because I feel like it's always like fringe, like 1.5, like 1, and it's just never the deck that wins. It's like you just see a whole bunch of them, and then they're just never like top. They never win. They always,
They always gas themselves out.
Maybe 4th place highest. I feel like the last, let's say the last 2, the Apocalymon season, everybody thought Red Hybrid could be faster. and it was what, 1 or 2 top in both of them, if I'm not mistaken. And then before that, Nats, what was the highest red hybrid player in Nats? Do you remember? I know there was a top 16 one, but it wasn't top 4. I don't think it was. Yeah, 5th, 6th. So that's why I'm just saying maybe, I don't know. It could be. I mean, if you want to say the numbers, because they still always top consistently. If you want to say like that, it's always a good deck. If you don't know what deck to play, just play red hybrid. If you're going to go that route, then I could see that, yeah.
Let me say, I look at it this way. It's such a bully of a deck that the only decks that can stand in its way now are machine. The only way, no deck could really stand in its way before, because the decks that could deal with red hybrid were too slow to deal with Anubismon and it was really just Anubismon, and then Apocalymon come BT15 and somewhat Melga. And now the decks that can deal with red hybrid have a better chance of dealing with it. But I think in talking about red hybrid, let's talk about Numemon real quick, because Numemon is a deck that plays things out by, I'm gonna put them side by side right now. Numemon is a deck that plays things out by effects, but they're also a fast aggro deck. But their entire, I would say half of their deck is like 3k DP and lower. So that means Crimson Blaze is,
I was about to say, one Crimson Blaze just F's them.
Exactly. It's constantly a 2 to 3 cost Crimson Blaze, which means red hybrid just has the advantage. You can Emperor pop the Platinum Numemon. Now you can steal turn if they, well, no, you'd have to pop the Numemon X. They could play out the Platinum Numemon. They could steal turn from you, but like if you're a smart red hybrid player, you would just Gravity Crush before they do that, so that you don't have to worry about that, and then you just pop that Platinum Numemon anyways somehow, because they also play that new Phoenixmon option. That pops 11k or less, 15k or less, and then it like some dumb.
It decreased for every security your opponent has. So if they have 5 security, then it only does like 5k.
5k. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That for 4 cost. I think red hybrid is positioned better than Numemon, even though Numemon's doing because red hybrid does it by way of both Digimon and Tamers, and Numemon's only doing it by way of Digimon. I think red hybrid's better positioned to be the aggro deck of the format. They both play Ukamon. They're both doing the same shenanigans, but red hybrid does it better. The same argument as with blue hybrid.
Numemon would 100% to me is the top of contenders, top contenders, and arguably bottom of meta defining currently. That's where I would put it.
Mike, what do you think about Numemon?
I feel like it's a pretty strong deck, honestly. I'm kind of with Dan.
Where are you more inclined to put it? Top of contenders, bottom of meta defining? It's tough to say, right? It's like it could be here. It could be. But if this starts, I don't know. I guess it also depends really big time, like how the meta starts playing out. If we start seeing more of this, what rises up to counter this? And because they're countering
exactly.
This, what also is countering this?
I feel like because they're similar decks, the same decks that counter Numemon can potentially counter red hybrid also. Yeah. So it depends on how crazy those two pop off. I would say Numemon is at least, like I said, it's top of contenders, bottom meta defining. It can do a lot.
Contenders for now.
It could do a lot. I guess it can go really fast, and then you have really good wide variety of top ends, whatever you want to play, from the worst quote unquote like Shinmonzimon, and that's not even a bad card. It's just there's other cards you could use better, up to Venusmon, Ruin Mode, Dex if you want to play that. Obviously playing Numemon is the other top end that you always got to play, but you got a wide variety of cards if you really want to have them. Right,
I agree with that. Now next one we've got Plesio X.
Whoa. Wait, let me clarify. I want the clarification first. Okay. What is the Plesio X stand for? Is it Fish Swarm or is it like the Goma Plesio deck?
I don't believe I put an Aggro in here, so it's going to be Fish Swarm.
Yeah, we're going Fish Swarm. It's 100% pilot oriented.
I was going to say, because 100%. It's Fish Swarm pilot oriented.
100%, because deck
above Blue Hybrid. Not that it matters.
Hell yeah, above. Yes. I think that's a deck that's like a couple cards are being cracked, honestly, because you have the promo Digimon that gives anything rush. You have the new Digimon that has rush on body that you could play it out from any time you want. You have the Mega Digimon that can just bottom deck anything depending on what you play out or something like that. And then you also have
Copium or what?
I'm giving facts. Like it does a lot of cool stuff now, and I'm just saying it's definitely a pilot oriented type of deck.
I agree. That's the only reason I put it here, because the new promo Digimon is really good for the deck, and especially, I mean,
the new Mega Digimon's cracked.
Even looking forward, like it is constantly getting support. Fish Swarm as an archetype, not the Goma Plesio tribal deck necessarily. So yeah, I definitely think it's a good deck. I'll ride Dan's wave. It can be a pilot oriented deck. Now, pilot oriented meaning that it's not going to top like any major event or anything, I don't think.
Potentially, it could be one. The Betamon, it's really good. It just stuns your opponent's stuff. I'm just saying, like, it could potentially do things. You can play Zoodomon Ace as well in the deck, super easy. There's a lot of things on there you can do.
I'll give Dan that one because I am going to take where is he? He's somewhere on this list. I'm going to take Horse, and I'm going to put Horse right behind him. Because I think of Horse as his own deck. I love my Horse deck. And I'm not gonna sit here and ride the Hopium Copium train or anything, but we've got stuff in the works, and we hope we can do something with the Horse deck.
There's absolutely no way the way that you just described that it does not go into we're here for a fun time, not a long time.
That's more.
No. Okay, so if you want me to give some legitimate reasoning behind this,
I don't need a legitimate reasoning. I just need to.
I can give you legitimate reasoning. So let's talk about Yellow Vaccine, and then we'll revisit Horse. So Yellow Vaccine, obviously, that's a contending deck. At what level, I don't know.
Mid to bottom.
So Yellow Vaccine, obviously, it's a good deck. It's one of two now good yellow decks that we have. Its problem is that it just kind of doesn't have a way to close out game. It has Seraphimon, which is nice, but more often than not, your opponent's able to deal with that stack, and then you kind of just end up rebuilding in the back again, and you got to do it all over again. And then the game just becomes never ending because you've now established a bunch of security, and your opponent can't swing out, but you can't keep a stack on the board, so you can't swing out either. That's why Bulkmon is very good in the deck, because Bulkmon lets you just get 2 jamming checks in real quick. But it's a good deck for sure. It's a contending deck. It's just that, in my opinion, Yellow, and this is having played it, Yellow Vaccine has no good way to close game out, which is why I really love MetalGarurumon in the deck. And you obviously very well can play MetalGarurumon as a level 6 for Yellow Vaccine, along with Venusmon and Kentorusmon and Seraphi, and even Shadow Seraphi if you want. Like, there's a lot of good ones to choose from. Now, with that in mind, that's why I put Kentorusmon in pilot oriented, because I play a Yellow Vaccine base, but I do it with MetalGarurumon and Kentorus. So the entire thing is being an aggro deck, and it uses both the low-end Yellow Vaccine engine here, as well as like new Garomon and stuff, to accelerate the game plan of being able to swing out and get real aggro, but then recover and have some blast potential, and then close out game with Kentorus. But I acknowledge what the deck is.
Put it in fucking we're here for a fun
I'm not putting it there. I will live with it in pilot oriented, Michael. Just like I'll give you, where is it? It's here somewhere. I put them here just for you. Imperial is here somewhere. I can't find it.
I see Dark Imperial, not Dark,
there
but Virus
Imperial. if you want, I'll also give you Imperial, but I'll give you it at the tail end.
I don't even know if that deck should be there. I think it might be there.
No, I mean, honestly, yeah. I mean, Imperial is
You might win something. Nothing good, but you might win something. You might go like good 2-2 at a locals. Solid.
While you're at it, you could throw the other Imperial, and we're here for a fun time as well.
Yeah, red, purple, Imperial. Honestly, the only reason
left, down.
Is because
where's my other favorite deck? Did you put a Resigermon on here? Did you put Hunters anywhere?
Oh, of course, Hunters is here. Hunters is somewhere here. But red, purple.
It's right there next to Shine. It's next to Shine.
It's next to Shine. I see it.
Yeah, Hunters.
Hunters. That's an actual pilot-oriented deck. I feel like. Or
you think so?
Sleeper.
No, that's Rogue. I think it's Rogue Sleeper.
Rogue Sleeper. I think it's above Blue Flare.
Oh, 100%.
I think it's above Blue.
All right.
Flare.
Yeah, 100%.
All right. I'll take you all on that. Red, purple, Imperial, they're just here because they have a promo and because the deck still somehow does what it does without kind of caring.
Did it ever really do what it did?
Kind of, somehow, maybe.
You're always gonna just break out and then hope to God you get the right pieces after a while, and then when someone tries to kill you giant stack, you drop 4 bodies. That's it, you know.
Yeah, that's
100%. We're here for a fun time, not a long time.
I was just gonna say, in the same way, it's kind of how Alter S is.
Unless your coach is somehow high roll that F out of people, which is...
Coach should just have his own category of coach decks, because that's how that feels. There's nothing more I can say about Alter S. When it does what it does, it's a meta-defining deck, because you can't fucking touch the shit. But when it doesn't do what it does, which is like 90% of the time, it's like, oh, okay.
Side note, let's go. Wait. Let's go back to Hunters because we just kind of skipped about talking about it. The reason why I say it's still there because it's still a relevant deck in the sense of like the Urashimon combo is just so strong still. There's no deck that can really stop that. Like essentially, especially when you just pop off, you have all tamers, you got everything going on, and then you can just quartz people out of nowhere as well. And you just lock down the board and there's nothing else well you can do. The reason why I say it's Rogue Sleeper because a lot of those decks above are just like OTK potential at times. And like they can't stop it either. It's not that slow per se, but like sometimes you need a good setup, and if you don't have it, then it might be an issue. And like Red Harbor can just go burr, it doesn't matter. Mirage can just, OTK you out of nowhere. Numemon just gets so much bodies, and so on. But again, I think it's one of those situations where depending on what pops up as counters, it might drop or go up higher. So like, let's say Black Greymon becomes a thing because of, Red Hybrid or whatever, blah, 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 right? I think Hunters goes down even further down because Black or Greymon just inherently counters the deck with all the Tamer Destruction and so on. So like it all depends on how like the meta shapes.
Now talking about decks that can't counter Hunters, here are 2 decks that can counter Hunters. So BrigadeDramon, D-Boys, this is a contending deck for sure.
Yes, 100%. I don't know if it's meta defining, but it's definitely a contender.
Nah, it's not meta defining. I definitely say I want to put it like here. It's tough to say. It really is tough to say where this one ends up. I'd like to say it's here, right below Platinum Numemon. I feel like if there's a deck that could counter Numemon, it's BrigadeDramon. It's D-Boys, specifically BrigadeDramon D-Boys, because we do have 2 DigiPolice decks now. So DigiPolice D-Brigade is a deck, and then DigiPolice Oriyumon is a separate deck. DigiPolice D-Brigade is just a board spam ass deck that can match the speed of Numemon because they can spit out blockers, pop things, and whatnot. The only thing is that like Heaven's Judgment ruins your day if Numemon plays that because you don't have protection against DP, but you have protection against other things. The only thing is that like, I don't know, it's kind of like a back and forth battle. So like this could go either way, but without knowing how Numemon ends up, I don't know. My initial impression is that the one deck for sure that's able to combat Numemon is D-Brigade DigiPolice. It's also just a really good deck. Melga can bounce stuff. The thing is, if Melga can effectively clear your board, which most times they'll be able to, because if they go into what's it called? The BT9. So if they go into BT9 Weird Ruex, they can bounce one level 4 lore. And then if they go into BT9, they bounce all lowest level.
Correct.
And then if they go into OmniX on top of it, if they pull into it, then they can just bottom deck the BrigadeDramon and they wipe your board, and then you got dick else to do. So that's tough to deal with, because so they kind of do have a way of dealing with that. If they can't deal with that, you're positioned kind of strongly. But I think in general, the board that you establish as DigiPolice, you're able to deal with. But then again, as I'm talking about it, I think about the new Melga, and the Melga is able to stun 3 bodies from attacking or suspending or something. I can't remember what exactly it is. I think it's suspending because it targets tamers too.
Something like that.
That is also something to consider, which is unfortunate. So I'll put it behind Melga, just because of got my vitamin water. I'll put it behind Melga just because of all those factors, and I don't know where it's going to come in relation to Numemon. And then Alphamon is, I guess, to be honest, yeah,
top of it.
Yeah, I guess it's not a bad deck.
There's only one person that's going to top with it. His name is Lychee, and that's the only person I know that's going to top with it.
It's not a bad deck. Somebody was asking us about this the other day. It's not a bad deck. It's just, why play OTK Alphamon when you
can? There's no such thing as OTK Alphamon.
Well, right. So there's no such thing as OTK Alphamon anymore because you don't have your Sec +1 Doro Gray. But why play Alphamon to do what Alphamon does when you could do what other decks do and do it better, i.e. Fenry. Speaking of Fenry, where is my doggo? Where do y'all want to put Fenry on this? It's not, I don't think it's a meta-defining deck.
I was gonna say meta-defining.
I was gonna say meta-defining too.
You think so?
Yeah, I think after the hits, I think it's still.
So like, it's a strong deck. My biggest thing with Fenry is it's slower than Numemon. Not okay. Let me.
You gotta remember, bro. Fenry was getting a lot of tops in like full Apocalymon meta.
Yeah, that was also best of one though. Also, but that was the best of one though.
I'm just saying.
So hear me out. I've been playing Fenry religiously. I love the deck. Don't get me wrong. Its biggest issue is getting set up. Like, you legitimately will have times where you can't get set up faster than the other deck. So like Numemon, for example, if I had a person literally go Ukomon and Raising, play a Numemon, next turn promote Uko, hatch, Digivolve, play something. They played Louis, popped out something else, and literally like I was dead by like turn 3 or 4, and nothing I could do about it, straight up. And obviously Numemon can do that to any deck, right? But if we're talking about like Numemon in relation to like the speed of decks, I just feel like Fenry, because it takes so much time to get set up at times, it's definitely a powerful deck, and when it does what it does, it's just like,
I don't think it takes a lot of time to get set up at all, bro. I think it's still a turn 3 deck.
Yeah, if you see everything you need to see by turn 3, yeah, that's.
I just think that it's not your playstyle one.
Arguable, but you know, we're not going to talk about what is and isn't my playstyle here. I'm just telling you my experiences of the deck. My experience being, you know, going 3-3 in the past Ultimate Cup. I know you weren't on the podcast, so you didn't get to listen to it. I went 3-3 playing the deck, and there were I lost to a Numemon deck. I lost to a Anubismon. I won against one Apoc. I lost to another Apoc. Deck is great, but sometimes you can't get set up fast enough. That is reality. I don't think there's a point to argue on that, respectfully. We're going to move past that. I'll give you guys meta-defining on it. In the comments, you know, if you guys feel differently than myself and Mike, you can let us know if you think Fenry is a meta-defining deck.
So my question is for you, since you've played more than, do you think Numemon is a better deck? If that's the case, then they need to be swapped right now. Because I think like even though I think that Numemon depends on what else pops up, but if Fenrir is that much of a setup, and that means Numemon can just pop out so much faster on a consistent basis. You're saying the way it sounded. I don't know if it's just maybe one hand he had the perfect hand and it just popped the F off and it didn't matter.
I'm agreeing with you.
Then that means to me, because I think we're gonna see Fenrir tops all through the rest of BT15 in my opinion. So like that's what I'm saying. Like that means that if that's the case, I think Numemon would have to be higher. If that's because I would consider Fenrir meta defining deck. But if you think that Numemon is not that much better, but like faster in that sense, and they can kill faster than you, if your setup is not correct, then like I don't know. I guess to me then that switches everything. Maybe Fenrir is on the bottom of meta defining. If that's the case, I still think it's gonna be a deck because in both of the Ulti Cups, right? There was at least 1 or 2 tops for both of them in the APOC version.
Yes.
So I don't think that's
both.
No.
I just don't think it wouldn't be.
Last top for Leviamon, and the Ultimate Cup there was not a Leviamon.
No top. Okay.
So I think if one top during the APOC meta where like you had to be either faster than it or not, I think we're gonna see a lot more tops in future for the next 2 months or so. So I don't know. I guess we have to go in this direction.
It's a great deck, and if not bottom here, it's definitely like top here. It's just that Numemon, bro. It's just this little slimy motherfucker. It's some fast slime.
Yeah.
I agree. Playing against Numemon, I was like, fuck. Like I literally can't deal with that board. There's nothing in Fenrir like, okay, I'd have to start playing Death X to try to deal with the Numemon board. Will I see that Death X in time to deal with the Numemon board? Probably not. I don't even have space to play a Death X, to be honest. Like that's how bad it is.
Right.
So it's a tough matchup there, but just in general speed relation, it's also a deck that does get cucked by Red Hybrid as well, just because Crimson Blaze. Against the other decks, I think you have definitely a bigger advantage. So I think we're fine and the bottom of meta defining here. But moving on from there, we've got Armors. I think Armors without BT16.
I think it's probably not going to win too much.
Pilot oriented?
Yeah.
It might probably some wins at some locals.
The biggest thing it gets is that new Magnamon, which don't get me wrong, new Magnamon is great.
The only
but
thing
like,
is the new Magnamon.
But like, yeah, it's like,
yeah.
What else are you doing? So
the new Magnamon's awesome, but
yeah. I think without
it also got
new
the
BT16 stuff.
It also got that Vmon promo from the movie.
Oh, the one that lets you Digivolve for like 1 less, right?
Yeah, and it has the promo.
It doesn't change too much.
But I don't think that it makes it.
Nah, I'd agree with pilot oriented. How about Bugs, Dan? How do you feel about Bugs?
Bugs currently
in a tough spot. I think
Bugs currently I would put at the very bottom of Rogue Sleeper pick or pilot oriented. I'm not 100% sure. That's why I say bottom of Rogue Sleeper or pilot oriented. I'm not 100% sure. The deck still needs like other stuff, but like the base of what it has is good. It's just no real top end yet to pop off. It's not we're here for a fun time. I think it would be pilot oriented.
Mike, what do you think?
I'm with Dan. I think it's just one of those decks that's waiting for some big key pieces.
The reason I say it's not because I know we had like in that group chat we're in now, and top 4 it was in a top 4 out of like decent sized locals. So that's why I say okay, waiting for support.
Yeah, I think that's
sure. I guess, yeah.
You changed the bottom.
He changed the bottom as well on accident.
It must have duplicated the rows. Whoops. Oops. There we go. Now we're screwing it up.
We're breaking things now.
Yeah. So I would put it there just because it's like.
Well, you gotta throw Imperial. I feel like waiting for.
I was just gonna
support
say
tough,
Imperial would be here.
It's a tough
Magna's
tier because I feel like every deck would be waiting for support if it's in the fun time, not a long time.
I would
no, probably just
because like Ultra S, right? Like Ultra S, like just got a new Omegamon. What are they doing?
Waiting for more support. What do you mean? I feel like that's a really weird.
All right. Sorry. Waiting for the next set. How about that? Because this gets bumped in the next set.
BT16?
This gets bumped in the next set. This gets bumped in the next set.
Yeah. They'll become tier 1 decks in
there you
BT16,
go.
Yeah.
There you go. Well, waiting for BT16. Secon. Eternally.
Yeah, Rogue Sleeper.
Bottom of contender, top of Rogue Sleeper. It's at minimum eternally a sleeper pick.
Yeah, I'm gonna say Rogue Sleeper pick right now. However, next set, that deck gets sick.
What deck?
Secon?
Secon gets nice stuff? What you mean? It's always like in
BT16, yeah, just because the armors. You need some crack stuff with rapid.
Okay, yeah, I see what you mean. Yellow vaccine.
Yeah, it's more of like an amalgamation.
Waiting for BT16 yellow vaccine. Yeah, Secon. So we use Venusmon to represent Secon here, even though Venusmon is used in the top more decks. Secon is just a deck that always good. It's never not good. The only time it's never not good is if you ever see all red decks appear. And if you ever see all red decks appear, something is really wrong. That's all I'll say about that. Bloomlord.
Meta defining, I think.
You think? Bloom Quantum? Oof. Let's say Bloom Quantum. Quantum Bloom. I want to say at minimum.
It's definitely a contender. I just don't know how high it is considered.
At minimum, top of contender is what I want to say. Because Quantumon is a searchable fairy type. And yeah, it's a searchable green level 6. That's fairy. That's fucking busted. Like, it just rips a security. Like, it's just insane. It's at minimum contender. Do I think it's meta defining? Let me think about it this way. If you come up against Red Hybrid, tough. If you come up against Mirage, tough.
I think it'd be fine against Mirage.
Numemon? Think you might get outsped by Ukomon. I don't know. I'm gonna say top of contender.
Deck. You can turn into a Bloom on like your turn 2.
For sure.
You can. Yeah.
Bloom is fast. It's a fast deck. I mean, and you don't have to turbo. You could turbo him to a Quantum on turn 2.
You can.
And locking someone with a Quartz is still insane.
All right, I'll drop it at the bottom of contenders or of meta.
But I think maybe you're right. I don't know. I feel like maybe we have to rework meta defining. I don't know.
I'm gonna leave it here. We'll revisit.
I also don't know if I like Mirage and meta defining anymore.
Why?
I don't know. I feel like Melga might be better. I don't know. But also, I just don't know. The more I look at it, it looks out of place being up there. I think that for sure Platinum is better than Mirage, and I think Red Hybrid is better than Mirage too, in my opinion.
So let's do this then. Let's get through some of the other decks, and then we'll revisit the reworking.
Yeah, we'll rearrange.
Let's speed run it.
Because
DarkKnightMon, it's fun time.
I see what you're
meaning.
meaning.
Get that shit out of my face.
Hey, DarkKnightMon can Okay. Phoenixmon waiting for BT16.
Yeah.
That's
Galonmon, fun time, not a long time. Get out of here. I don't want to see it.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You think it's pilot oriented? You're insane. Just because
yes.
you can shove 4 Crimson Blaze in the deck? Get
no,
out of here.
No. Solely because we have one man in the TBL,
I know
and his
who
name
is.
is Vinny.
Yes. Throw that shit back in fun time, not a long
is
time.
the only man who could ever make me believe that Galopmon is.
I let you get away with Kentorismon or whatever the fuck. Yeah, no, that's going in fun time, not a long time. Get out of here with that. You're gonna win some locals. You're gonna have some fun. You're not winning anything. I don't want to see it.
Fun time, not a long time. 100%.
ShineGreymon, great deck. I'm going. You're going.
Contenders.
Yeah, I was gonna say contenders. I'm a Dan.
I don't know. That's a hard one. There's no APOC anymore, or APOC, or what's it called? No APOC and Anubis.
So this is why I didn't necessarily want Fenrir in meta defining, and I also didn't want Platinum Numemon in meta defining, because
I think Platinum Numemon's a better deck.
Because Numemon is strong, but Shine will body the fuck out of Numemon.
Yeah, but you're going off of single matchups, and I don't think you should.
Well, yes. I mean, you kind of have to. Like, you do have to consider some of these single matchups, especially if you consider how many people might be playing.
You have to consider them as meta-defining matchups, right? Exactly. But I don't think that Shine.
So Shine has native access to a Crimson Blaze.
I know exactly what Shine does.
But they also have 4 -1, -2, or delete 2, delete 3K inheritables that just wipes a Platinum Numa board, and they have better access to a Ruin mode than Platinum Numemon does.
So here's the way I'm thinking about it right now in my head, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'd have to look up the data, but in BT14, Shine was a deck and it did pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing has changed from BT14 to BT15 for that deck.
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
I think that other decks got better than it. I think it goes into contenders. I think it's still a very playable deck. I think it's still going to top, but it didn't get support from BT14 to BT15, and I think that it was a good deck in BT14. But I don't think that
Mirage and Red Hybrid.
So
support.
I think here's the one thing you're missing out on is EXO5, and there's no more Anubis, so they don't have to deal with Anubis anymore.
It's true.
And there's no APOC anymore either.
That's the big thing, right? Yeah, like Dan said earlier, without the 3 purple boogeymen. Well, the 2 purple boogeymen and the 1 purple boogeyman turned blue, which was always going to fuck you one way or another. So that one doesn't matter. Anubis was just stupid fast, and APOC was APOC. I personally think Shine is better than Numemon in a head-to-head matchup. And then if Shine is ahead of Numemon, Shine goes toe-to-toe with Red Hybrid. That's kind of how I feel about
it. That's a 50-50. Whoever sees their tamers and can just pop off.
Right, exactly. That's like a toe-to-toe 50-50 matchup. That's, you can't, the only thing that interacts with Shine's tamers is the same thing that interacts with Red Hybrid's tamers. So you're talking black or gray, you're talking...
I was about to say, I can't wait to talk about... the face of Digimon when we get to it, because it's an interesting topic when it comes to them.
Quartzmon, so obviously, Bloom, Quantum Bloom, whatever. This green deck here, maybe it's better than Fenrir, I don't know. But I personally do believe that Shine is a better deck than Numemon. It's what keeps Numemon from... It's one of the many decks that can keep Numemon from being
I don't know, it's just hard for me because we've seen recent Numemon tops actually, and we've actually seen recent Fenrir talks. Even though I know it was the Apoc and Anubis meta, I understand. But I've seen those decks top more recently than I've seen Shine top.
Well, actually that's wrong, because Latin America had a Shine top. So you're saying recently, that was just recent. There was a Shine top there.
All right, if y'all are okay with leaving this,
Greymon top there too.
Yeah, that was weird as fucking. We're not going to talk about that though. If y'all are okay with leaving this here, in this current state at moment, we can come back to it.
I hate it, but we'll talk about it later.
Beelza X.
That's a good ass deck, bro. I don't know, but I don't know the Rogue Sleep.
That's contender.
You think contender? I think that
It's like a bottom contender.
I think it's. The only reason
It's a deck that when it does what it does, it's gonna fucking fuck you up.
Only reason I'm gonna say Rogue Sleeper is not because I don't think that it'll actually win anything. Because I think it already got tops, right? I think that it'll pop up and randomly win random events just because that's what that deck does. But I don't think that a lot of people will be playing it
on a consistent basis. I got you. Yep.
Yeah.
So
I would agree with Mike.
Deck.
Yeah, 100%. All right. Yeah. No, once you said that makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, so like that's like another thing is I'm trying to consider as well, like how many people are going to be playing certain decks to how much we're going to be seeing it. And I 110% agree with you, Mike, on that. I would put it at the top of Rogue and Sleeper, if not bottom of contenders, but just because I know not many people are going to be playing it.
I think it's one of the best Rogue decks you can play because that's a great deck.
100%.
And if you know that deck well, you're going to win with it. We've seen it.
Exactly.
That deck is topped randomly.
Don't you think about putting Bagra? No. Down. I'm so proud of you.
Hey, it got a top 64 at Nuts. I had to have it on the list, okay?
Sure, but fun time, not a long time. Guarantee he's not playing it again. It was only for that one specific time.
You might really love that deck, bro.
No, you're probably right. But it's probably the one person that's
He
it.
probably fucking loves
Whoever
it. He
top
probably
one
spends
person.
20 hours a day playing that deck, bro. He fucking
Whoever
loves
top
that
of
shit.
Bagramon, you're a G.
Yeah,
That's right.
Play it if you like it. I had to put it here because of you, but
you get to be called the best Bagramon player ever. I don't know if that's something
In the world.
Yeah, I don't know if that's something you want to ever be called, but like that's your title, brother.
There you go. Don't you put it anywhere high, right there.
There you go, bro. Perfect, right there. How the mighty have fallen.
Actually, you know what? I'll be willing to put in Pilot Oriented because it could still pop off if you decide to play it.
I think it's gonna win locals and stuff. I don't think it's gonna win.
No, I wouldn't, just because there are decks that do what it does way better than it does.
And again, I think it's gonna win lots of locals. It's a decent deck, but that shit ain't not winning big tournaments. Rogue Sleeper.
Really nice. That's an interesting pick because the deck got so pushed out so badly so fast just because of those 3 decks. I don't know anymore. I think it could be a Rogue Sleeper pick because now the meta isn't like crazy like that. So I don't know, because I don't like realistically, how does Numemon deal with 3 Royal Knights on board that are all blockers? You know what I'm saying? That's an interesting factor. I don't know how well that's gonna happen. And then when you decide to do the Omni pop off, GG, no read. There's nobody. There's no deck that's winning.
I think
unless it's a God of the Breath in the security or some shit.
I think it's just like, I mean, Fanglong might be a little bit different, but in my opinion, these 2 decks almost go hand in hand just because.
Nah, that's a contender.
They play a similar game plan of what are you gonna do about it kind of thing, and if you can't do anything about it, then it's kind of GG. And if I see what I need to see, then GG.
The only reason I'm comfortable putting those in Rogue Sleeper is because I don't know how many people are actually gonna play them.
Divas, it will get played. So, I think that's a bottom contender deck.
People have a lot
more. Royal Knights, I think that's more
than
I'm with
Knights.
you. Yeah, I just don't. Yeah, Royal Knights. I think Royal Knights is still a great deck, actually.
Yes, agreed.
I think a lot of and I want to preface this so people understand. A lot of these decks aren't bad decks anymore. A lot of these decks are still good. They're still very playable. They just suffer from have not seen the support, so they haven't gotten better and they haven't gotten worse. Kind of what I was saying with Shine earlier. Shine has not gotten better and it hasn't gotten worse. It's just a good deck still.
It's just busted the OTK potential. Are you looking to where in contenders? Where you had it previously? I will put it above. Right there.
All right.
I still don't like Mirage up there, but whatever. Rosemon.
We're gonna get back to it. We're gonna get back to it.
So we've got the tale of 2 Rosemons. We've got because there is a specific Rosemon burst mode build, and then a completely separate Rosemon X build, and then of course you can take the 2 and combine them together. They kind of go hand in hand. There is of course 2 separate builds. I think Rosemon X is the better of the 2 strictly as its own build.
I think both suck, but whatever.
I think it does what it does, and it's pretty cool what it could do now. Regionals wise, fun time, not a long time, or in a high competitive setting.
If we're talking about a competitive setting,
I would drop it down.
Obviously, we're talking about it in a competitive setting.
I would drop it all the way back here.
All right, so I'll put it down there, like I just said.
I'm not really. Okay, again.
I'll put it above Cross.
Here's always been my issue with Rosemon and everything is why are you playing that deck instead of just playing Bloom?
When you could just play Bloom. Yes, exactly. That is just the tail of green when you have the same exact bottom end, but just a different top end. Yeah.
Quantum Bloom is just 100 times better. You could also just play Rosemon, Burst Mode, and Bloom.
I wholeheartedly agree.
100%.
All right, Belphamon. Unfortunately, this is like a fun
bottom of pilot oriented. I think it's more. I think it's more bottom pilot oriented because like it had a Nats top for what was it, Latin America, like just recently. It wasn't like
post
that far
Eismon
off.
Hit?
Yeah, it was post
Eismon. Right, with that.
Aggro had a Nats top
I remember
too,
that
buddy.
one.
But we know that's a bad deck. Belphamon wasn't a bad deck.
It wasn't a bad deck, but it got hurt with the
Belphamon is just an unfortunate casualty of the scatter mode hit.
Because you can run Uko, Analog Utes, you can do a lot of other things, and if you want to throw in Leviamon, you can.
All right.
I don't think it's a bad
I would say
deck.
bottom. I would just say bottom pilot oriented.
Yeah.
Like I said, bottom. Right. I think bottom pilot oriented is fine. Ooh, right, now we're going to talk about the interesting card deck that just like died off, but didn't die because it's still a good ass deck. Greymon dot decks.
I'm not gonna
lie. Lottery put Greymon.
I have absolutely no idea. I think it's odd. It could potentially. I know it's about to sound crazy. What I'm about to say, because there's no Anubis, there's no Apocalymon, there's no Melga's not as cracked. I honestly think this could be either for bottom meta defining or in contenders. Now hear me out. If you go Black or Greymon base, right? If you play against Ride Hybrid, you can legit just pop all the teams and just board control the F out of them, and it's GG. It doesn't matter what they do. You can do the same thing with Numemon because you just keep bodying their bodies. They're bodying all the bodies they can, bring out and do whatever. If you go War Greymon, you can just raid over shit and just OTK people still. Because we're not in a, Apocalymon, Anubis era anymore. They can just deal with yellow vaccines, security as well. They can just pop a Melga if there's no, BT15 Melga. They can just pop off still, I think. Like, there's nothing that just slows it, that stops it in that sense. I don't know. I think it's just, I'll put it in middle contenders.
I don't.
Can you hold on for a sec, sir?
Yeah, well,
you said there's nothing that can stop it.
I feel like it could be a rogue sleeper pick because I think.
Okay, I mean, if you have Leviamon's a bottom of contenders anyways.
No. I'm talking about Agumon.
I know I'm talking about because of Varney.
Yeah.
Can we continue?
So my reason for Greymon Travel being rogue sleeper because I think it's still a really good deck. I'm not sure how many people are going to play it. I'm not sure how many people are going to choose to play it over Shine. I think Shine is still the better Greymon deck. I just don't know. We have to see what ends up happening with the meta.
Yeah.
I feel like it's I don't know. I'm fine leaving it in the middle of contenders though, but I feel I've wanted to voice that I think it's more of a rogue sleeper pick, but I am fine leaving it.
I feel like it could go from either to the top or rogue sleeper. It could be anywhere.
I think right smack dab in like the middle of contenders is exactly where it needs to be, because it could be rogue sleeper and it could be meta defining, but like y'all are saying, there's no fucking way to tell, especially depending on how the meta turns out. Yeah, but you can just say haha, delete, Black or Gray X, unsuspend, delete.
I'm just saying I think Melga's better with it.
Unless they get into Secret Melga.
There's no, that's the only thing that stops it, because you go Black or Gray, I actually just watch him kill himself. So it's obviously they can go faster at times, but I just don't think, I always think the Black or Greymon is better than that deck though. But
it's a tale of two, but I think with Greymon, we kind of just have to forget about every deck to its left and to its right, and just have it constantly sit right in the middle.
I don't know.
I think because I think that's like its perfect spot. It doesn't matter what's at the top of contenders and what's at the bottom. It's just a middle contender deck because it really could just go either way. I think I'm comfortable with it in the middle for now. Now, decks that could
agree.
Decks that could body Leviamon. Now, Leviamon, so Mike and I were talking about this earlier.
I don't think that it's that good now after the hit.
So Mike doesn't think it's good because they lost the Garurumon engine, so they lost the draw trash.
I don't think it's that good.
I 100% agree with that statement.
Thank you, Dan. And you know when me and you agree, buddy, usually means we're right. I don't know.
Yeah. Levi can still pop the F off and could do a lot of crazy shenanigans because what's his name? Lance was playing it at the what's it called?
The case tournament.
The case tournament. He did pretty well with it, right?
He placed higher than I did, for sure.
Because cool thing with this, you can play Anubis. You can play the one of Anubis. You can play Merva if you want to. I don't know if they really do. Levi X is such a crack card. It can do a lot of things. It just sometimes can you get to it because it feels like maybe it's a little clunky at times of a deck.
Right. Yeah. So in my playtesting, this is the reason I started playing Fenrir so much because this deck has not treated me nice. Definitely do miss the Guru engine because you miss all of the draw trash this card going. You would think that like with like Dober X, Cerberus X, it's a decent replacement, but it's not because it just feels like you're 1-2 cards off at times. So Leviamon's in like a super weird place with that. But I will say, yeah, like Dan said, when this deck pops off, you're fucked. Like straight up, when this deck does what it does, if your opponent gets into the War of Siegedramon, and they have the Levi X and trash, and they have an X antibody under that War of Siegedramon, yeah, you're fucked. Because when they swing that, that's gonna pop out, and they're gonna be swinging 3 checks 14k, so they're most likely not dying. If you played a tamer, that tamer is most likely gone. They're popping level 3, 5, and 7. If you trash a 7th lightning, 4 and 6 is gone as well. They still got base Leviamon that they play, which pops 2 things most times. So it's like, it's a very destructive deck, but it's also a very not bricky deck. Because that's the thing. It's not like you brick with it. You just struggle to get there. And you do struggle to finish games as well. Because I have had that. Like I have wiped security and then not had rush for game. So that's like big things to consider. It feasts on things that play by effects, but like Numemon is faster than it. Straight up. You probably won't even have the time of day to say biting crush. You'll say biting and they'll be like game. And you'll be like, oh, fuck. Yeah, you're right. So like,
I don't even think they care about that, right? Because it's like, oh, you're gonna delete me? Great, I'll just drop more bodies.
Yeah, they could. But like you remember, you have like a chain of effects. So like your biting crush plays Levi. If you have,
yeah,
this is the thing with the Guru engine. Like, yeah, if you had all of it set up in trash because you had the Guru engine, you play Levi, you pop 2 bodies, then you go Levi X, then you're basically wiping board because 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then also a tamer if they play a tamer. But without that, yeah, it's just, I think it's like right about here. Could be like here. It still does something.
I don't think it's that good. I'll go on record and say that. We'll come back, but that's fine.
I don't know where it places in relation to D-Boys. So it's like, right there for now. This MegaGargomon represents Yellow Vaccine, specifically the trashing version of it, which we think it's its own archetype now, because it is like it just inherently plays different from Yellow Vaccine. Yellow Vaccine, you just want to recover, you keep recovering. This one you're trashing and you're using your security as an extra resource to gain advantage, which is the kind of same thing with Kintorismon. So I guess I'd put this.
I would put a fun time, not a long time, until proven otherwise.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. I wholeheartedly agree with that. This with the MegaGargomon, and if you were specifically going the entire trash security as a MegaGargomon tribal or Garurumon, Anjumon type route, like that type of yellow vaccine deck, it's tough to say. You're better off playing either just straight yellow vaccine or a mix of those two. But this as its own play style right now, it's not there just yet. If you want it, you can go check out my video on Gintorismon. Yeah, you'll find the spice there. Oriyumon DigiPolice.
Rogue sleeper pick.
You think so?
I think it's a good deck. I just don't know if it's something like that's gonna be a consistent topper. I think it's just like, in my opinion, like Ulforce, not Ulforce, I shouldn't say that.
So this deck topped.
I'm not sure.
I want to say equal amount of times on average as basic DigiPolice in Japan, as like D-Brigade DigiPolice. And I think the one thing that the deck has going for it is that it has tamer destruction. Not tamer destruction, but it can get rid of tamers.
Yeah.
Which gives it an edge.
I guess.
And it also is, it's still a DigiPolice deck, right? So like, because it's a DigiPolice deck and it uses almost the same pieces, it's just a slightly different play style. It doesn't spit out the bodies. It's just pivoting your top end and a little bit of your play style. I'd like to think it's like somewhere here.
I don't know. From my limited time of playing against it for a little bit, I'm not too impressed with the deck. Maybe that was just unfortunateness. I don't know. I would put it at bottom contenders then, if that's the case.
I'll put it above D-Brigade DigiPolice because it doesn't fall to the same pitfalls that D-Brigade falls to. It falls to a little bit less of them. So I'll put it above that. It also has the Ryudomon that gives you protection against Digimon effects, which can be really useful. And it also can be like a touch more aggro than D-Police can. Not that D-Police or D-Brigade isn't aggro, but because you can delete multiple bodies and like, you know, obviously Dexmon is a thing and Quartzmon is a thing. The Oriyumon version, because you just rely on Shu Yulin for the alliance swings, you can just inherently get bigger. You suspend tamers so that they can't react with tamers. They can't react with their blocker Digimon and stuff. I do think it's the better deck of the two DigiPolice decks right now. I honestly, I haven't playtested this one much though. So that's all I'm comfortable saying about it. And this is where I'm comfortable putting it.
Okay. Rosemon.
I don't think Rosemon is good. Yeah, there you go. All right, Apocalymon, Rogue Sleeper. I think
so.
The Omnis.
All right, let's. I was about to say, let's contextualize this. If you're going with regular Apocalymon, Dark Masters, obviously it's fun time in a long time. You only have one Apocalymon. You can't do much with it. Now, the OmniZoo variant of Dark Masters, I think, is a rogue/sleeper pick because of how easily you can just go into your Omnimons and pop the F off. You just play a level 5. You can go first or second with it. You play a level 5. You place a Dark Masters in your raising area. Next turn, whatever you have, you can go into any Omnimon basically, and then you just pop
any
off
white Omnimon.
Yes, but all of them are white, so
Ultra B isn't white, and
sure, okay.
It's just an important distinction to make, but yeah.
Yeah, but most people ain't going Evo Ultra B Ultra B over regular.
You'd be surprised, but yeah.
All right.
Yeah. OmniZoo, Apocalymon. I think it's better than Royal Knights.
Probably. You can also play the what's it called, the tie and mat. Give your Omnis sec plus one.
You
have
gain
mercy mode.
You still play Alter B. I think you still play.
No, you do 100%. Because I have Alter B in my version.
No, you just can't
still play it.
Digivolve from the level 6 into Alter B.
The cool thing about this deck also, you can play a bunch of aces as well, because you can you don't have to do the on deletion effect and the turn on deletion effect for your low 5s. So then you can just have them chilling. You can go into any of the ace that's whatever color that is that you need, and have a that's 100% a option. You can go into Ibonrumon. You can go into Black War Greymon Ace. You could go into other aces as well, and disrupt, and then go into a Omni as well.
Yeah, agreed. I think that's a fine spot for it. Millith Loop is
pilot oriented.
Yeah, okay. I was gonna say Rogue Sleeper, but I'd agree with pilot oriented. Probably the king of pilot or queen of pilot oriented.
100%.
Because you just gotta know what the fuck you're doing with that deck. If you don't know what you're doing, or you fuck up, or there's any little misplay, it's game. And if you don't see what you need to see, that's game. MachineDramon.
Contender.
I'm cool for contender.
I think it's...
like the MachineDramon player in me wants to say meta defining because it don't have to deal with what it has to deal with anymore. But I'm gonna be a realist and keep it in contenders because I don't know how it's gonna shape. But the thing about MachineDramon, I will put it at the bottom of contender. I think MachineDramon potentially is a good counter to a lot of the top tier decks, i.e. Numemon, Red Hybrid, stuff like that. You can also board control the F out of Bloom if you go, if it pops off correctly. You can, deal with a lot of things that's on, the top tier decks. So I think it's, I think it could potentially be something like that.
Should we just put it in Rogue?
No, I would say contender because I think it's gonna be a consistent, you're gonna see a lot of people play it.
Okay. Because it does kind of get bodied by Leviamon if you're not playing the right build. And obviously Andremon.
Sure.
Obviously Andremon takes your life away. Dorbic.
That's a rogue pick if I've ever seen it.
Rogue?
Yeah.
Or rogue, right?
I don't think it's pilot oriented, bro. You literally just drop a fucking Digimon in OTK. There's not much thinking involved in that.
All right, that's
a
fair.
helmet deck to the core.
All right, that's fair. Dorbic, just your standard fucking slam, dumb, big sec plus 1,000 OTK
it's
monster.
My turn 2. Here's a 3 sec unsuspend.
5 check, unsuspend, swing for game on the after.
Yeah.
Dumb Dorbic. What about Gaiomon as a deck? Gaiomon Tribal.
Fun time, not a long time. I don't know. It's a Greymon dot deck, so there's nothing wrong with it technically. So I would say pilot oriented.
I'll put it at bottom pilot oriented.
Yeah.
Leopard X.
That card is so good, but the deck is just still.
I tried to tell y'all that deck sucked, bro.
It's it doesn't suck. It pops off when you pop off, but the problem is everything else around it is just so much better. Leopard X is cracked of a card.
Leopard X is cracked. Yeah, that's you going fun time that alone?
I would say pilot oriented.
You say pilot oriented? We can leave it there for now. Now here's one that's gonna benefit greatly from the hits, but it's also gonna be in a really weird spot. MetalGarurumon Sukamon deck.
Rogue.
I'd put it at the bottom of Rogue then.
Yeah, I would say that.
Because it has Tamer Destruction. It turns your Digimon into poop. You can't do anything about it. But to be seen how it performs in a non-purple king meta.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
Leomon deck.
Rogue sleeper pick. It just gets bodied by Mirage so hard.
I'd put it above Edamon. It's very impressive at what it does, but then yes, it does get bodied by blue decks very easily.
I think Divas kind of messes it up as well, but I'm not 100% sure.
Be a back and forth matchup. Now, Anubismon, the hit one of Anubismon.
Get that fucking card out.
Fun
I
time,
don't even
not a
know.
long time.
Like this deck isn't even a deck. To be honest, we only have it here just to reflect that this shit is hit. It's not worth playing as a deck anymore, in my opinion. There's no way that you can pivot playing this deck that makes it, worthwhile playing. Your entire game plan was get into Anubismon, spit out Mervamon, swing for game, OTK in one turn. Now it's like, what do? Like, you don't have a second game plan. There was never a second game plan. Just play Anubismon in your other purple decks and just go with it. That's my opinion.
Yep. If you draw it, great. If you don't, then oh well.
Novemon. Are we saying this is waiting for BT16? Because we've seen
technically
BT16 for it.
I guess technically because it has 2 new cards.
Because it has 2 new cards, and I know Ukomon does help it a little bit now, but I think those 2 new cards plus the new Ukomon helps it much more in BT16, especially in.
Because I would put it fun time, long time,
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Honestly, I don't even think it's good in BT16, but yeah, I'm fine with it there.
Fun time, not a long time. Black War Gray, promo Black War Gray OTK.
That's a pylon-oriented deck.
I think it's a rogue sleeper deck, actually.
I should have taken that to Nats instead. I probably would have done better.
Daniel, I think it's a rogue pick.
I think it's a pylon-oriented deck.
We'll go with your advice.
Then I put it. Behind
the deck it's the same concept as Millet in my opinion. It almost doesn't matter what your opponent does. You just do your thing. You pop up. It's basically a solitaire ass deck. The only thing that matters is if there's a blocker.
That way. Yeah.
The only thing that matters is if your opponent has a blocker. But if you're able to have a sec +1 underneath it, they're gonna have to block earlier and so on. And then at that point, GG.
Okay, I'll give you that. DiGiPOD.
Fun time, not a long time for now.
In its current state, yeah. Fun time, definitely not a long time. I have a big disdain for ghost game decks. I think Dear Rabbit is also fun time, not a long time.
Yes.
I think Gamamon is fun time, not a long time.
No, stop. Rewind. I think I would put it in a rogue sleeper pick. I know we don't. I know we're.
But I know it has.
I know we're not.
It has so much support. It's got to do something, right? I don't know.
I know we like crap on it, but it's showing potential in post BT15 ban list that can like potentially have a top here and there. Stop crying over there. I think Jellymon is the better one because I have Jellymon Ace after playing it is kind of cracked for that deck.
I will at least agree on that. I do think Jellymon is the better deck.
And I would put it as Rogue Sleeper as well.
I'd put them behind. I don't know what they'll do. I don't think they'll do much of anything. Now, Jasmine.
I think that deck sucks. But Rogue Sleeper's fine. I don't know. I think that people... So I actually don't think that deck sucks. I just don't think people spend enough time trying to make it good. Because I think that we should just forego everything and just like shove fucking 1,000,000 memory boosts in that bitch, 1,000,000 training boosts in that bitch.
Like if you want to play an OTK deck, just play Dorbeck.
We just play the OTK version. We just play Greymon in it again. We just go for
Dorbeck.
it.
No, just play Dorbeck.
I'm just saying. I just think we need to stop playing it like it's a fucking Jesmon tribal deck and play it like it's an OTK deck.
That's your issue. You just play Dorbeck into this.
I'm telling you, I think it would be better that way.
All right, so now that we've got all the decks on the tier list, what needs to be restructured up here?
I still feel weird that Mirage is where that is.
I don't think Mirage is the top of meta defining by any means.
I don't know what the best deck in the game is, but I don't think it's Mirage. I don't think it's Red Hybrid.
Well,
so what do you think is the best deck?
I don't know.
The best deck?
I don't know.
So okay, let's preface it.
So make an educated guess.
We don't know what the best deck in the format is.
Than Mirage, in my opinion.
They can be.
I think Fenrir's better than Mirage.
But Mirage, it's a 50-50 matchup on who's faster.
I'm just saying, I think in general, I think Fenrir is better than Mirage. Like, overall. I think that...
Man, you went around when Gino was smacking everything with Mirage.
Yeah, that's why I say it's a 50-50 matchup. It's who's faster.
I don't know. I think it's up there. I think Numemon might be up there as well.
I think based on the decks that we've put here,
I think until we see like actual results, I think it could be up there. It really depends on two decks and the way the format turns out. Those two decks, Greymon deck and MachineGAOGAMON, how like, you know, how popular that becomes because of those other decks. Until we know what happens with that, I think Platinum Numemon could be meta defining.
I mean, I already know Numemon's got more tops than Mirage and Shine and Red Hybrid.
Right, but we also have to consider
understand
looking forward to the BT15 post restriction. So we can't.
Yeah, so I think it still be meta defining until proven.
I think that it is a good deck. Yeah.
You fine with this?
Maybe. I'll say yeah for now. Absolutely not. Don't do that.
I didn't put it. I just put it above Leviamon.
Fine, whatever.
I think this is about where I'm comfortable saying my educated guess on the format is.
So are you saying Red Hybrid's the best deck in the format?
That's what you're saying.
It's the deck that cares the least about what your opponent does outside of this deck and this deck right here, which we have no idea what these two decks are going to be doing. What deck? Like, just making my educated guess. Like, you can. I mean, I guess no, because even against Quantum or Bloom Quantum Quartz, okay, Emperor Grey, pop it, and then Crimson Blaze the rest of the board.
Not if you Quantum into your Quartz.
Yeah, Quantum stops the Digimon effects, right? Something
Quantum,
like that.
Yeah, you get.
Yeah, there's a lot of. I guess the difference with Bloom is Bloom refunds your memory and then you go into the Quartz, but Quantum's going to cost 5. So unless you HPD or you have a lot of memory or you pop your agility, or like they're just, I feel like it's because it costs 5 to Digivolve and it doesn't refund anything. You might not Quartz in the same turn that you Quantum, but I get it. But they still have mag.
Here it is. Numemon was the one that beat APOC. APOC was considered the best deck until proven otherwise. Numemon should be ahead of Red Hybrid until proven otherwise.
I kind of hate it, but I think Dan's right.
I in good conscience can't do that knowing that this motherfucker up here is playing Crimson Blaze.
Okay. And? I saw two Numemons in the finals in our Ulti Cup. I didn't see a Red Hybrid in our finals.
I don't disagree with you, but we also all acknowledge that was APOC meta.
Yeah.
I think this is fine.
Sure. Let's go up one more then. One more. Numemon, move it up. Move the Numemon. No.
I think that's right to you though, actually.
I think this is fine.
I think Shine is better.
Move the Numemon up.
I personally think Shine has the edge over Numemon. The only thing that Shine doesn't have the edge on Numemon for is being faster, in which I would give Numemon the edge for.
I don't know.
Because if Shine takes time, like if you turn 3, turn 2, turn 3, get set up.
There was 2 Red Hybrids in our Ultimate Cup, huh?
Yeah.
Yes.
My point was the Numemon was the ones that are in the finals of it. That's all.
Well, Numemon won the whole thing.
Yeah.
So I think we can leave it off on this.
I think Numemon's better. I'm with Dan. I'm full fucking copium right now.
Let's go full cope right now.
Yeah, Numemon's
the top dog.
As far as
BT15.
BT15
is one chip. There's one chip and it's Numemon.
For those of you who've made it to the end of the video, just because you've made it this far and you're still watching, you can see me give into the copium just so that I can label this video. Numemon is the best deck of BT15, and I'm gonna give this face right here.
Oh my god.
It's gonna be a clickbait ass video. So if y'all made it this far, thank you for watching our clickbait ass video. Personally, I think Red Hybrid is my educated guess. The best deck until proven otherwise, just because it has the edge in turn, like on paper matchup, it has the edge over Numemon. But obviously, this entire list is to be seen. We don't know what the meta is. This is a super important distinction to make. This was our entire educated guess. This could be wrong. This could be like we could fucking whiff on this entire thing, and we could be right. Who knows? The most important thing is that we have 3 months with this meta. So let's play it out and let's see how it is. Anyways, that is it for this tier list. Thank you guys for watching. If you liked it, please drop a like and let us know in the comments what you think of this tier list. Let us know what you think we overshot, what we undershot. Please remember that tier lists aren't by no means the gospel, the word. So it is okay to disagree. And with that being said, until we talk to you guys the next time, peace out.
Peace.
Peace.